Studio Classroom is on the air.
Hello, friends! Welcome to Studio Classroom on the air. This is the place to come when you want to have some fun. My name is Rebecca, and today your English will improve. Now, everyone has a very unique personality. That's what makes everyone special.
Studio Classroom is on the air.
Hello, friends! Welcome to Studio Classroom on the air. This is the place to come when you want to have some fun. My name is Rebecca, and today your English will improve. Now, everyone has a very unique personality. That's what makes everyone special. However, what if I were to tell you that your personality could change? Would you believe me? Well, apparently, some experts say that our personalities are not permanent. We're going to learn more about this in a lesson called You Really Can Change Your Personality. I hope you're interested in learning how you can change your personality, because this lesson might change your life. Well, friends, right now it's time for you to open up your magazines because we need to begin. Let's go. You really can change your personality. This leading psychology expert argues personality is far from permanent. Part of the importance of the practice of capacity building is too many of us think things like our intellectual capabilities, emotional resilience, and focus are fixed. In reality, we can change almost everything about ourselves. Benjamin Hardy, an organizational psychologist and author, recently presented groundbreaking research that suggests that we can often change by altering our environment. Because people's lives become routine, both in their social roles and their environments, you begin to see very predictable behaviors and attitudes, Hardy says. This is why personality is viewed as stable and predictable over time. Hardy's book, Personality Isn't Permanent, digs into this concept.
Hello everyone, welcome to Language Lab. I'm Jack. 我们今天要看的第一个字是名词 capability. Capability 的意思是能力。譬如说 This power drill looks small, but it has the same capability as the larger ones. 这个电钻看起来很小，但是它的性能跟其他的电钻是一样的。或是 The boss is looking for someone with the capability to translate documents from Russian to Arabic. 老板在找一位能把文件从俄文翻译成阿拉伯文的人。还有一句 The little boy likes to pretend he is a superhero with the capability to travel through time. 那个小男孩喜欢假装他是一个有能力穿越时空的超人。接下来我们来看形容词 predictable。Predictable 的意思是预料得到的。譬如说 The geyser is very predictable and erupts about every 45 minutes. 那座间歇泉非常好预料，大约每45分钟会喷发。或是 Here on this island, the weather is very predictable. It is always sunny in the morning and rainy in the afternoon. 这个岛屿上天气是很容易预料的，早上总是晴天，下午就会下雨。Predictable 也可以用来形容人事物因为一直照老方法做事而变得无聊又没有创新。譬如说 The producer rejected the script because the story was too predictable. 那剧本被制作人拒绝了，因为故事内容很老套。
Well, thank you very much, Jack. You are capable of many wonderful things. Friends, I'm glad to be here as well. My name is Gabe.
Well, today we are talking about how you can change your personality for real. We read, this leading psychology expert argues personality is far from permanent. I've actually never really thought about how my personality isn't permanent and how I can actually change my personality.
Yes, this is a very interesting thing to discuss. And friends, I don't know if we'll have time to discuss everything that we can on the show here, but maybe you can in your own time. But first, let's take a look at this phrase, if something is far from something else.
If something is far from something else, this just means that it's not even close, not even a little bit.
Right, and we usually use it with an adjective. So the word permanent is an adjective. So you might say, oh, you know, I really enjoyed this, even though it's far from perfect, but it's okay, right? Or the movie is far from over. That means it's not even getting close to being over. This is similar to the phrase anything but. However, anything but communicates the opposite. If you want to communicate, it's the opposite of something. So for example, the teacher is anything but boring. That means the teacher is really exciting or interesting. So there is a difference between anything but and to be far from.
Exactly. Good point, Gabe. Well, our lesson reads, part of the importance of the practice of capacity building is too many of us think things like our intellectual capabilities, emotional resilience, and focus are fixed. Now, there's a lot in that sentence, but in short, it basically is saying that it's difficult or impossible to change things about our emotional ability or our personality.
That's right. That's what the word fixed means. It means it's unchanging or it can't change. So let's take a look at this word resilience, though, because that's an interesting and good word for you to know. Resilience.
Resilience, or you could say it's the ability to be happy or successful again after something difficult happened to you. So you kind of bounce right back into who you are.
You know, I was thinking about that phrase bounce back as well. If someone is resilient, that's the adjective form of this word. That means something terrible might happen to them in life, but they don't give up. It's like a ball that hits a wall and bounces back. They just bounce right back into the game. Another word that comes to mind or phrase is thick skin. Someone has thick skin if they are resilient, right? They can just get right back in. They don't give up. So I think it's important to develop resilience if possible.
Absolutely, I agree. Well, we read Benjamin Hardy, an organizational psychologist and author, recently presented groundbreaking research that suggests that we can often change by altering our environment. We would like to take a look at that word altering or to alter. It just means that you change something, usually just a little bit.
That's right. It's not a huge change, but it is a slight adjustment, right? I think of things about our mind. So you can alter your outlook, or you can alter your mindset about something. Or sometimes you might need to alter your attitude towards a certain situation. So there are different things in life that you can alter, different things about yourself that you can alter.
That's right. We read, because people's lives become routine, both in their social roles and their environments, you begin to see very predictable behaviors and attitudes. Hardy says, I think Hardy actually makes a very good point. I mean, you kind of get into your routine, you get used to doing things, and you're not really doing a whole lot of new things necessarily, and you think that this is just who you are.
Right, you get into a rut. Sometimes we say you become predictable. You can predict what you're going to do. Others predict or can predict what you're going to do. He continues, this is why personality is viewed as stable and predictable over time. That means when we take a look at it over a long period of time, we develop this opinion that it is stable and predictable.
We read Hardy's book, Personality Isn't Permanent, digs into this concept. Actually, it sounds like a very interesting book that I would actually like to look into more.
Yeah, well, friends, we do have more to learn about this book and Benjamin Hardy. But speaking of personalities, some people have a very fiery temper. Do you know anybody like that?
Oh, I do. Let's learn about that in the Info Cloud.
Welcome to InfoCloud, everyone. You don't look well this afternoon, Rex. Are you okay?
I'm utterly exhausted. I was up half the night. My neighbor and his wife got into a heated argument at 2 a.m. in the morning, and it was so loud it woke me up.
Sorry to hear that. Is this the first time this has happened?
Well, they just moved in a few weeks ago, but it has happened several times. My neighbor has a fiery temper. I've seen him yell at his wife, his kids, and even his dog.
That's a tricky situation. Let's talk about the phrase fiery temper. Someone with a fiery temper is someone who gets easily angered.
The adjective fiery means strong feeling and comes from the word fire.
The word temper means a person's state of mind.
Other similar phrases related to fiery temper we can use to describe someone who easily gets angry are quick temper, hot temper, bad temper, and short temper.
Yes, all of these terms are quite negative. I hope that your new neighbor with the fiery temper does not cause too much trouble for you.
今天跟大家介绍非常多有关坏脾气的英文用语。首先 fiery temper 就是像火一样的脾气，这跟 hot temper 几乎是一模一样的意思。不过 fiery 像火一样听起来是比较强烈的感觉。Easily angered 就是很容易被激怒。Quick temper 跟 short temper 都是来得快去得也快的那种脾气，因为 quick 是快速， short 是短暂。通常容易引发人们发脾气的可能就是 heated argument 很强烈的争论。 heated 有加温的含义，当人们进入 heated argument 那就代表他们吵得很凶。这就是今天的 Info Cloud， 我们下次云端见。
Studio Classroom is on the air.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to Studio Classroom, where we are discussing how you can change your personality. Do you believe it? Well, that's what our lesson says. Sometimes our lives, our routines, and our social lives become so routine that we become predictable. And sometimes, according to our lesson, all we need to do is alter our environment just a little bit to actually see a different part of our personality come out. Well, friends, let's continue learning about this idea now. You really can change your personality. Find a new first. We conceive of our childhood, teenage years, and 20s as our foundational learning periods. It can be common to think we can't learn as effectively as we grow older. But Hardy posits that we really stop learning because we stop trying new things. By the time a person reaches their 30s, they stop having as many first experiences, Hardy says. In our young lives, we experience an enormous amount of firsts, ranging from social experiences to learning opportunities. Absorbing new experiences is crucial to ensuring we keep expanding our minds and changing our personalities. Do something to change your routine.
接下来要看的字是动词 conceive。To conceive 在文章里的意思是想象或是想得到。譬如说 It's hard for Valerie to conceive how anyone could be so mean to an animal.Valerie 无法想象为何会有人对动物那么恶劣。To conceive 也有想出的意思，比如说 The robbers conceived a plan to rob the jewelry store. 盗贼想出一个计划来抢珠宝店。我们也可以用 conceive 来指受孕，譬如说 Scientists are using IVF to help endangered animals to conceive.科学家利用体外人工受孕来帮助濒临绝种的动物怀胎。最后我们要看的字是动词 absorb。To absorb 通常会被用来指吸收。譬如说 The towel did not absorb the water very well because the material is not very good. 那条毛巾没有把水吸掉，是因为质料不是很好。To absorb 也有学到或理解的意思。譬如说The student was very interested in the subject and absorbed everything that was mentioned in class. 那位学生对那科目非常的有兴趣，凡是在课堂里有教的，他都有学起来。我们也可以用 absorb 来指深深被吸引住或是抓住注意力。例如 Teresa didn't hear her phone ring. She was so absorbed by what she saw on TV.Teresa 没有听到电话在响，她人完全被电视节目给吸引住了。All right, let's get back to our teachers.
Thank you very much, Jack. Gabe, what are you doing?
I was just absorbing all of that information that Jack was sharing.
Got it. Did you absorb it all?
I absorbed it all, and I can't conceive of a better person to teach us in the language lab than Jack. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yes, Jack. Thank you. Well, let's get right into this next section, which is called Find a New First. What does it mean to find a new first? Well, that is what we're going to be discussing in this section.
But we read here, we conceive of our childhood, teenage years, and 20s as our foundational learning periods. Those are the foundational periods in life. It can be common to think we can't learn as effectively as we grow older. A lot of people think this, and that's why there are phrases or expressions like, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, because they think, well, the older you get, the harder it is to learn something new.
That's right. Or sometimes you'll hear someone say, oh, I'm too old to do that. I'm too old to learn English. I can't remember anything. But I'm not so sure about that. I think that if you put your mind to something, you can do it.
That's an excellent point, Rebecca. Well, we continue here. Hardy posits that we really stop learning because we stop trying new things. Well, before we continue, let's take a look at that interesting P word, posit.
Posit. What does it mean if you posit something? It just means that you suggest something as a fact, as a basic fact, or an exercise from which another idea is formed.
Right. Some scientists these days, I should say many scientists, posit that all we need to understand life is science, or that that's the most important thing to understand the important things of life. I disagree. But that's what some people posit or suggest. They want us to consider that. And Hardy here wants us to consider that we really stop learning because we stop trying new things.
Exactly. We read by the time a person reaches their 30s, they stop having as many first experiences, Hardy says. And I think this is a very interesting point because obviously when we're young as kids, we're always trying new things because that's just the nature of being a kid.
Exactly. And so we should get out of our comfort zones more often and see things in a different way. Maybe talk to people we don't normally talk to. Take a class that we never thought that we would. Or in Rebecca's case, go and live overseas. Didn't you used to say you were never going to go to this part of the world?
Oh, absolutely. When I was younger, I said I would go anywhere but Asia. I was like, I'm not going to go to I don't want to live in Asia. Why would I want to live in an Asian country? And I don't want to study Chinese. And guess what? Here I am living in Taipei, and I've had to study Chinese.
Not to mention, you really enjoy studying Chinese and have improved a lot. And you improve in a lot of different things when you step out of your comfort zone to try those things. We read on in our lesson, in our young lives, we experience an enormous amount of firsts, ranging from social experiences to learning opportunities.
Exactly. We read absorbing new experiences is crucial to ensuring we keep expanding our minds and changing our personalities. We would like to take a look at the phrase to expand our horizons. What does this mean? This just means that you have or you seek out new experiences, especially if your current experiences have been kind of limited.
That's right. And of course, this phrase does not appear in our lesson. You don't see the word horizons. But we thought about that when we saw the phrase to expand your mind, right? So how can you expand your horizons? Some people like to travel overseas to do that. That's probably the most obvious way. But you don't have to leave your country to expand your horizons. You can read something that's very different, maybe from an author that you're not used to reading. You can have conversations with people who are very different from you. That's a great way to expand your horizons and the understanding of the world.
That's right. Or you can even just go to a place in your own city that you have never been to. Or you can even just travel around your own country. There are a lot of different things that you can do to expand your horizons.
All right, so our lesson concludes with, or today's part concludes with, do something to change your routine. That could be a way to change your personality in a way that benefits your life.
That's right. Now we saw this word predictable, and right now it's time for us to see how this word predictable is used in a skit.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Honey, I'm home.
And it's 5 o'clock exactly. You're always home right at 5. You're so predictable. So, how was your day?
Busy, but good.
I knew you'd say that. You always do. You're so predictable.
So, what's for dinner? Oh, wait, let me guess. We're having chicken and rice.
Yes! How did you know?
Because it's Wednesday, and you cook chicken and rice every Wednesday. That never changes. You're so predictable. Oh, look, I have something for you. Surprise!
Oh, how sweet. Let me guess. Is it another new scarf?
A red one?
Well, yes!
How did you know?
Well, I know you so well. I can always guess what you are going to buy for me. You are so predictable. Oh, I'm sure it's beautiful.
I knew you'd like it. You always do. You're so predictable.
And you're so predictable, too.
Yes, well, we both are so predictable.
I knew you'd say
Well,
that.
I knew you'd say that.
I knew you'd say that.
I did. Yes, I did.
So our lesson discusses this idea that our personality is really not permanent, but oftentimes we think it's permanent because we stop learning new things. And why is that? Well, as we get older, we stop having new firsts. Of course, in our younger years, we're always learning. But once we reach our 30s, 40s, and 50s, we stop having new firsts. So my challenge for you is find a new first. Well, friends, thank you very much for joining us today, and be sure to come back as we continue talking about how your personality can change next time, right here on Studio Classroom.
A good friend lasts a lifetime. I am so proud to have you in my life. A good friend lasts
last a lifetime.